spiritual center worldwide, where we believe there is a power greater than we are, and we are using it. That we're not here by chance, we are here by divine appointment. We heard the call, we answered, we showed up. All of you who are tuning in at this moment, this is that moment where we open, it's the open moment to acknowledge that I take responsibility for everything in my life, and as I tune in to a higher vibratory frequency, my life opens. And so the month of August, our theme has been the dance of life, that there is a rhythm and an energy and a frequency to life. That first week where we talked about the dance of aliveness, and listening to that creative call, and allowing ourselves to let go and let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us, and to feel that flexibility. When you can dance and run and feel free, that is called flexibility, where we can let go and let God do that energy dance that is within us, that wants to express itself. And along the way, many of us learned that it wasn't all right to be ourselves. It wasn't all right to express. It was, shh, stop it. Don't be yourself. You'll offend somebody. Stop. But the truth is, there is a creative energy within us that wants to express itself. And it's that energy of love, of light, truth, beauty, and wisdom. Children know this. They come in knowing this and learn how to suppress their feelings so that they can be conformed to society. But Jesus, who became the Christ, said, "Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Think about it. Be not conformed to the race-conscious belief. And Ernest Holmes said race consciousness is the prolific negative thought of the ages. And we can just dip right down into it. I mean, every summer we hear, oh, could it get any hotter? And the universe says, yes, as a matter of fact, it can. Right? So we're opening that space, and we kind of forget about it, or we tune in. Have you had your flu shot yet? You're going to have the flu. And they go into all the symptoms, and people say, oh man, yeah, oh. You know, we just buy into that frequency. That's called race-conscious belief, the human race, the prolific negative thought of the ages. But what I know, we hear a lot about the sins of the first and second generations visited upon the third and fourth. But I know that the joy of the first and second generations are also visited upon the third and fourth. That joy really is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. It truly is. And when we're in that field of expression and that bliss, and Joseph Campbell, the wonderful anthropologist of note, said, follow your bliss. And when we are following our bliss, we're in joy. We have energy. We can get out of bed with that certain knowingness that this is a beautiful day. It's never been lived in. And that I speak my word into the law of mind, that only good comes to me because only good flows from me. And that anything that comes up in my day, that I will learn and grow. Something that's gone viral on the internet and Facebook and you name it, is about a little boy named James Hay. James is 6 years old. His father passed away when he was 4. His mother passed away this past year. And he is from Savannah, Georgia. And, you know, he's got that little 6-year-old Georgia accent, and he went to his aunt and he said, I'm tired of everybody being sad. I want to see smiles now. And so his aunt, who's his legal guardian now, said, well, how will we go about doing that? He said, I want to buy toys. I want to buy dinosaurs and rubber duckies and give them to people. And so his aunt said, all right, we'll go right out. And so she went to the 99-cent store and she bought like 50. And they went down the streets of Savannah, and this little 6-year-old, missing both his front teeth, would see people that didn't have a smile on their face. And he'd hand them a little, either a dinosaur or a rubber ducky or whatever. And this old biker looked up and he smiled. And he said, hey, give me 5, dude, you know, and they had that exchange of energy. And everywhere he went, he was getting the smiles. Well, this came to the attention, of course, CBS News. And he was interviewed by one of their main anchors. He said, "What made you do this?" He goes, "I just got tired of being sad. Now, I miss my mama because she died. I miss her. People die, you know. But I want to be smiling too because I have a lot of good memories." And here is a 6-year-old little master, as far as I am concerned, that came in with this experience to have that level of understanding and to recognize that he wants to put a smile on somebody's face and give them just, a fun little dinosaur or a toy or whatever. And one woman just wept and ran after him and just hugged him. That no one had given her a gift in years, and she loved her rubber ducky, and it put her in mind of when she always wanted one and didn't have one, and no one would give her one. So you never know what you're going to tap into. And that the energy of the universe flowing through a 6-year-old, so fresh from God, and I believe that children are God's autograph. And that when we allow them to be who they are, when we allow them to express who they are, we're their guides. But they're really here to teach us on so many levels. And that we are open to receive our good, pressed down, shaken together, and flowing over into every single area of our life. And unless we become as little children, we shall not enter into the kingdom of God. And what that means, in this great fire dance that we're going to talk about today, is that the fire burns out anything that no longer serves us. It's a purification process. And if any of you have been, and if I lived in Angeles Forest, there was a major, major forest fire. We lived smack dab, with all the trees, and we had a stream that went through the property. We had horses. People would call our daughter Rebecca from Sunnybrook Farm. She had every duck, you name it. And that fire was raging. And I remember that the fire department came in, and they were had their hoses, and all of a sudden they pulled the hoses out. And my late husband Neil said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We got a call from the city. This is county. Excuse me, there's the fire right there coming straight to our house." And it was raging. And I thought, what do I take? I mean, I didn't think of legal papers. I'm getting photographs. I'm getting my daughter's baby book. What do you take? I got a few pictures off the wall that friends painted for us and put them down by the stream. And as I went back to get a couple more things, the fire marshal was out the door and said, "Ma'am, we have evacuated this area. What are you still doing here?" And I said, "I'm just getting a few things and I'll be with you in a moment." And he said, "No, I could bodily carry you out of here. This is evacuated." I said, "I do not value this place over my life. I just want to get a few things. Let me just get some of the things that are replaceable this lifetime. Because what I really know on a higher level, this is not in my experience." He said, "Lady, it's in mine, get out." And I grabbed a few things. I went across the stream. The fire department had left, so it was just raging. And so my husband and his brother and some other guys that new firemen came, everybody that came, and they went on to the next hill and they started a fire. And that moment the wind shifted. And let me tell you, our big old oak tree in front of the door, it was so singed, and the wind shifted and it went on to the next hill. And at that moment, when we look at the burnt offerings of our lives, offering up that phoenix within us that arises triumphant and victorious, and if you've ever been, and they're just ashes everywhere. And I just thought of the phoenix and that energy, and how Shiva, who is not only the creatrix, but the destroyer, destroys everything. And so it looks like we have nothing but that consciousness within us. And I almost brought my statue of Shiva today, standing on like a head, standing on illusion and ignorance, standing with one leg lifted, the left leg lifted, and 4 arms, and one of them, of course, is fire. That purification energy that we are here to do our work, that we call in people, places, and things so that we can learn and grow and unfold at a higher level. And then go within to the secret place of the Most High, to pray to our Father, Mother, God in secret, and to know that we are acknowledged openly by the outward demonstrations of our lives. What are those demonstrations? I believe it's when we don't need to react, that we can come from our higher self. And we're all taken aback. We're all surprised. I saw that Facebook that our dear Rick is a guardian for children, and he takes them safely across the street. And he said he just got a child across the street, and this guy just about hit him as he's coming through the sidewalk. Thank God we have people that care about our children and want to walk them safely across the street. And he said his first reaction, he said, as he just about grazed him, is that he just hit the back of his trunk, and the guy stopped and got out and looked to see if his trunk was hurt. Oh no! Oh my goodness! And said, I love that word you used, bastard, right? Because there are times we feel that way, right? And you vented, in a good way. And I know that we have a lot of work to do on the planet, and there's a lot of unconsciousness on the planet. But, I did a silent prayer for Rick, and I just said love, and I thought, we have so much work to do on the planet that I'm going to speak my word and just say that only conscious people are driving on our highways, and that when those children are being, a loving guardian is carrying them safely across the street. I looked, did you get the license number? No, I was a little more concerned about the children and getting them across the street. And all of our senses are alive, and that we have those reactions. And I believe that we bring these things in so that we can draw the larger circle and realize that with all this collective unconsciousness on the planet, that every time that we speak our word, every time we know the truth, every time we take higher ground, that fire purification, that energy that rises up within us absolutely burns out that which no longer serves us. And that we can acknowledge the things of the heart, the things that are irreplaceable this lifetime. And when we can acknowledge that, this amazing opening occurs. Because inside of us is a little 6-year-old child. That's right. That just wants to see everybody smile, because I'm tired of being sad. I mean, this interview was amazing. It's called The Broken-Hearted Smile, if you want to access it on YouTube. It is amazing. And a friend of mine who's a doctor said that he was sitting, he said, I had to go out of state on a conference, and I was, had to go to my home state, which again was Georgia. And yet I said I was sitting there in this little cafe, and this woman came up to me and said, is your name Roger Kaiser? And he said, yes. And she said, well, my husband just wanted to, Tony wanted to say hi, and because he goes, I didn't know him. It was this very frail man, and I saw a wheelchair, and I was racking my brain and thinking, I don't know who he is, and he goes, I ordered some, breakfast, and should I have lunch, and kind of looking at him, and then all of a sudden he looked further, and he thought, Tony the bull, Tony the bully, Tony who made fun of my big ears in front of the whole class, Tony the guy in our 7th grade class that made fun of me because I was an orphan, just so he could be the big man and take me up against the lockers and shake me, just so he could look like the big man. And he said, and when I saw that it was him, and I saw a wheelchair, and I saw this frail man, this wave of compassion came over me. And as the wife was wheeling him out, he said, hey, Roger, and he said, hey, Tony, and his loving wife wheeled him out. And he noticed through the window that she was trying to get the van working so that the wheelchair could get on the ramp, and the ramp was not going up. So he just excused himself, went out and said, hey, let me help you. And so he lifted Tony out of the wheelchair into the passenger seat. And Tony said, you do remember me. You're probably thinking what goes around comes around, right? And he said, I would never think that. Never. And he said, I reached in and gave him my business card and said, call me, we really will do lunch. And he said, they had kind of a little laugh. And he said, all this wave, this energy, this wave of compassion just came over him. And that Tony apologized for his 7th grade behavior. Because in that case, the sins of the 1st and 2nd generations are visited upon the 3rd and 4th. So when we have these things come up, and we can see those that we learn the most from. And I believe we call in those that are going to teach us the greatest lessons. And I was speaking last week, and I got a lot of feedback on, it's interesting, on Facebook saying, we love your self-disclosure. Because I self-disclose, because we're all part of the human condition. I'm not holier than thou because I'm standing up here. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've had amazing lessons. I've had amazing things that have been unfolding for me. And when we recognize that, the universe recognizes that. And out of that, miracles occur. I never thought that 2 years ago I would be voted in as the president of the International Foundation for World Peace and sent all over the world and part of the Nobel Peace Prize Commission. I never envisioned any of that. I was just open for my good and my unexpected good and where I can serve best. And when we're open to serve, the universe smiles on that. Because I believe the secret to life is about sacred service. Whether it's taking the child across the street safely to the other side, whether it's setting up a room so people can have a spiritual experience and feel the energy of community. Whatever it is, as Emerson said, there is no large or small in the one mind that knows all. There is that peace and that presence and that energy that goes before us and prepares the way. And just like that little 6-year-old, I just want to see a smile on your face. I want joy in my heart. Because we know that joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. And that this fire dance that we do is about purifying our mechanism so that we can arise triumphant and victorious to whatever that lesson is. And then turn that lesson into some sacred service that we can give one to another. And the wound becomes then the sacred wound that I can actually help someone who made fun of me, who beat me up, and criticized me unmercifully. I can help them into their van, out of their wheelchair, because the wave of compassion only sees love, only sees truth, and only sees that this is the moment. So today, as I greet you and I acknowledge that we each have been through our fire dance, and some of us are still going through it, but the awareness is so much higher. And when the awareness goes higher, something is shifted inside of us and we are never, ever again the same. So today, let's just all put a smile on our face. And when the news anchor said to this little guy, so what do you get from doing all this? And he just went like this. And he put his little toothless grin right there in front of the camera and said, I want to reach 33,000. And the news anchor said, I think you've already done it. You've already done it. So today, where are we going?
Higher yet.
We are going higher yet. Where?
Higher yet.
Where?
Higher yet.
And so it is. God bless you.